Hey everyone, it's me again, Zikri Khalil, the host of the It Matters show, where we talk about everything that really matters to society. Speaking of society, we apparently have a guest on our show today who represents a nonprofit organization here in Malaysia, solely focusing on growing the community here based on senior citizens, and she is here with us today, and we will be doing our best to understand why is she doing this. You know, what's her background, since the nonprofit organization is relatively new, and we'll find out a bit more. But here we have Jasvinder Kaur here in Kuala Lumpur. Welcome to the show, Jas.
Thank you, Zikri, for having me here.
It is my absolute pleasure for having you here. So I'm a bit curious to understand about your personal background beforehand. I've gone through your resume when you sent it to me to show your background. But I guess it's best if you could share it with our audience who are watching either now or later on. Tell me more about yourself.
Okay, hi. My name is Jasvinder, and I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I'm from the accounting background. I've worked with an audit firm for almost 8 years. Then I quit my job because my parents moved to Rawang, and when I was in Rawang, I decided to actually start this organization called Pertubuhan Pakatan Kemanusiaan Selangor. That was our earlier name, given the to TAS. Now we have changed the name. So what I used to do is I used to teach. I used to teach at a center, at a Cambridge center, and but I have this passion to actually help people in their difficult times. So I decided that while in Rawang, there were a lot of people from a very poor background, and some of them didn't go to school. They are dropouts. And then I noticed that the crime rates in Rawang was also quite bad. So we decided to actually provide free education for the Rawang community. Yeah, and it wasn't easy because I didn't know how to go about starting an organization like this. So while looking for help, I actually came across with this organization called Souls 24/7. Yeah, and we had an appointment, and we decided that they should come into Rawang because of the situation at that time. That was back in 2013 when we first started. So what we did was Souls 24/7 provided free English classes for the community in Rawang from the age of 7 right up to 80 years old. And we had about 200 students, young and old, completing the course for while we were having it there in Rawang for about 2.5 years. And 200 students actually graduated from the program. Yeah, so that was what I started off initially in Rawang, and a little bit of my background.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. I mean, Rawang is a city in Selangor, a state in Malaysia, not
Yeah.
far from the capital, about an hour drive, depending on how fast you drive. So, being in this community, what do you see that was really lacking that sort of sparked you to do this? You know, I mean, you were teaching at a Cambridge institute, and so forth. I would imagine there must have been a huge leap of faith in wanting to pursue this more compassionately. Would you mind sharing on that?
Yes, actually, in 2012, I actually was working for a orphanage center where the parents, they either have a mom or dad, or they don't have one of their parents, and that was very difficult. I saw that children so young, neglected, especially in education. I was the teacher there then, so I felt that this is something that I should be looking into, and I did came across uh, some students that suddenly didn't want to go to school because of poverty. Their parents didn't find that education was important, and then they end up into bad hats. They have friends who they smoke very young. They're in the primary school and they're already smoking, and that all this social illness that they take up in school or even out of school. Yeah, so that's what got me into doing more towards the community of Rawang.
Okay. And did that sort of evolve into helping the senior citizens? As far as I know, this is the project, one of the main projects that you're focused on. Are they intertwined, connected some way, or how does that work?
Well, although I was helping a few senior citizens then, but it didn't occur to me that actually they would need help. It was more of the young children, the young people there, the adults who didn't have adequate education, so they are deprived from working job, and they couldn't even speak proper English then. So that was what actually drove me to actually focusing more towards education. Yeah.
Okay, got it, got it, got it.
Yes.
I mean, the city of Rawang. I mean, you can say it is semi-urbanized. Perhaps you would know better because some demographies of towns and cities in Malaysia, they have different denominators of the root cause of such challenges, right? Um,
Correct.
Now that you have sort of validated the lack of motive from the students, the youth in Rawang, what do you
Exactly.
think is the cause of that?
Poverty. Um, there are lots of people. The older generation over there. They just lack the understanding of why education is important, and also youths. They are hard. They just want to be free, and they don't find that education is interesting. They just go doing what they enjoy, mixing around with the wrong person, the wrong people.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So we lost you just a bit there, but I think we managed to capture um, what
Okay.
you mentioned there. But don't worry about that. Okay, cool. And right now, what are the ongoing projects that you're putting your energy in right now? That you especially during this pandemic, because there's a
Okay.
lot of major issues from every walks of life, and I'd love to hear more on what is Human Alliance Society doing at the moment to curb some of the challenges that's been affected from the pandemic.
Okay. From being education focused, but came 2020, it was a real challenging year for, I think, all of us. Some of us didn't know what was happening, and some were like, what's going on, and then suddenly they lost their job, and um, no food. Suddenly, that all sort of issues popping up. So in 2000, we decided that we need to give a name change first, because our direction was now focused more towards the humanity issues, like poverty, homelessness. Then came senior citizens issues as well. So that's when we first decided to change the name from what we were at first to the Humanity Alliance Society, focusing. We initially started off where we actually provided food. We distributed food to about 100 people around this Klang Valley, and also to the frontliners, especially to the police officers, because in 2000, when during the first lockdown, they had all these police roadblocks. So we were lucky because I live just in front of one. So we provided them with some food, if not every day, but almost as often as we can. And then came a point when we realized that the senior citizens are being left out. They can't, their families cannot reach them because their young adults or their children cannot visit them, and they're just left alone. So that's when we actually thought of to develop these super senior concierge services, to actually not just focus on the senior citizens, but also to provide, I would say, a full spectrum of service. Unlike what's available now, you can find that there are a lot of such services, but they're kind of limited. So, but we are providing like a wholesome service that if we don't mention in our list, you just ask and we will provide. And what we intend to do is actually to provide also job opportunities, with our super senior concierge services, because it's going to be like a subscription base, keeping it affordable to every group of people, including the B40. So we would be actually, it's going to be like something like a social enterprise. We're going to give it back to the community. We're going to provide. We're going to do this when United Nations came up with this sustainable development goal. One of it, some of it is actually to actually have decent work, to for economic growth, for education, zero hunger, and no poverty. So we want to contribute towards this. So that's why we are using the senior super concierge services to help in this area. Yeah.
And who's paying the subscription? Is it the public, or is it the donation base, or how does that work?
Okay. The subscription base is actually a senior who needs our services. They will be the one actually paying for it. But we have
Okay.
a package. We have a package, a wide package actually, that they can choose from what they can afford. Yeah.
And could you go down? Could you go over again the type of services that is deemed necessary for a typical senior citizen would be more or less needing throughout this
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, for the reason why we're coming up with this as well, because young people are, the children are busy and they don't have time. So we've come up with these services. If we just mention a few, but if you don't mention it, you can ask. It would be like grocery shopping, household management, pet care, um, appointments. If they need to go for their appointments, we do that running around. We help them pay their bills. We even sit down to just listen to them talk.
Okay, okay, I get it now. It's like a full suite of everything that is deemed a necessity for any senior citizen who may require such services. Um, uh, I think my following question is more about the public's opinion, because I don't think they've never seen such soon to be services before. What has the response been so far?
Okay, we have not really been advertising it because initially we didn't know how to start. We just had the idea, we didn't know how to start. So, but came 2021, I just spoke to one person about it, and the word just spread so quickly, and have actually been receiving calls almost every week. They've been bad families, friends, relatives heard about us, and they've been asking on behalf of a senior in their contact, in their family, who needs our services, because for now, everyone is trying to get vaccinated. So senior citizens, they're not so much of smartphone savvy, so they find it difficult to even, or they just don't know how to register for their vaccination. So actually, we are doing that right now, and I know a lot of other services of such is available now. What we do is we actually help them to register for the vaccination. Then we do a follow up. We do the status check and all those kind of things, and then we actually inform them when will be their vaccination date, and we will arrange for either uh, one of our volunteers to actually ferry them to the vaccination center. So besides that, we also, of course, call them up. After the vaccination, after they have received their vaccination, we call them up to ask them if they're feeling fine. How do they feel? If they need any kind of support. So yeah, those are the kinds of services that we've done, and we actually right now have completed, helped about 5 senior citizens. Um, since we started in June, we actually kicked this off in June when people started to ask us about, how can you provide these services for us, and we were like, how are we going to do this? So we just went, starting this with whatever we had. I have a car, so I just used my car for now, and the service is free for now. So we kicked that off, just immediately when we received the first call.
That's fantastic. June is just last month.
Yes.
So this is barely a month old, and I think
Yeah.
you're getting the concept validated by the people.
Yes.
I mean, my last question is more or less about, if I have to play devil's advocate here, for someone who isn't really a beneficiary and he sees this initiative of yours. I mean,
Okay.
that person could be saying that, why does this work really matter? Because senior citizens have their parents to look after them. Knowing the Asian culture, why do I have to fork out some of my donation to your cause, because there are other causes that are deemed much more of an emergency at this point.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to them, telling them that this is actually very important and actually it does matter because of X, Y, and Z? How would you respond to that?
Okay. Based on statistics by the United Nations Population Project, Malaysia would be an aged nation by 2045, and by 2040, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor would be actually second and third highest after Penang. So, with all this being already laid out and we already have the information, there's going to be a lot of people who need our services. Not only that, even the world, I would say, because you see, the demographic clock is ticking very fast. The developing countries, which are actually projecting house about 80% of the population, of the world population, 2.5 billion people by 2050 are going to be aged. So about 3.6 million, or 10.3% of the population in Malaysia, currently people are actually age of 60 and above, and expected to make up 15.3% of the population, of 5.8 million, people by 2030, and that's not long from now. And taking care of a senior citizen is not easy. A family, there could be lots of conflicts. Conflict like, who's going to take care, the financial issues, and um, uh, emotional issues as well. So it's not easy for a family to actually just do this by themselves. So that's when we come in to actually uh, alleviate that stress, to give them the peace of mind that, and when their adult children comes to visit them, they don't have to worry about responsibilities. Spending that time that they have, they could have that quality time with their parents, their senior citizens, grandpa, because we have taken care and the load.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that definitely. There's a lot of facts to back this up. I think what a lot of people won't see in a very short term basis is the how this particular issue is a growing factor within
Yeah.
the next decade or two.
Correct.
So I also managed to share the link here, right down here. You can see there's a link to go straight to the project that Jess has posted on the Insider platform for those who want to find out more about the special concierge project that she was sharing. You can find out more about the project, the details, the story, how the costing will be like, and what is needed. You can just go down here, type this out if you see that. Do you have any words of advice for those who are seeking into doing more good and joining this journey as you are doing right now?
Yeah, I would say that, how we as family members and friends perceive and value our senior loved ones, and how they perceive and value themselves has a major impact on their physical and emotional health. You see, studies have shown that senior with a sense of purpose, they live longer. And you as a donor towards this initiative, you can know that your hard-earned money is actually used in a positive manner. Spent on a worthy cause. You would feel better because you know that your money is going for a cause that is it matters. It matters. And if you have children and they see you do things like this, it actually innate like kindness. It sets in them, and you would actually be an example to your children. Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, again, I want to thank you, Jess, for being in our show. Thank you for sharing your compassion, your drive, your need of wanting to do this. And on behalf of It Matters Show, I wish you all the best with your endeavors, and we'll be in touch again. So thank you again for having us on the show. And
Thank you.
I'll sign off and stay safe, stay happy as much as you can, and stay strong.
You too. Thank you so much.